This is Thursday Thoughts for January the 1st, 2026, here on Following Him, the Disciple Life. This year, do not try to renew anything. Do not try to make your life better. Just don't. It needs to be new. It needs to be as if this is the beginning of it. In Luke 14, beginning in verse 25, we have where the great multitudes were going along with Jesus. And he turns to them, and what he says is, "If anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. And whoever does not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple." Now, usage of the word hate in Scripture is quite a bit different than how it's normally used in the English language. Of course, the original words were not English words at all. But while the words in the original scriptures, the Hebrew, the Greek, while it could carry with it the sense of hate as we normally think of the English term, in this sense, this is being used to talk about preference, to talk about loving less. And you can look at a passage like Genesis 29:30 through 31 and compare those two verses, and you'll see how the word in the original Hebrew, and this sense does carry over to the Greek as well, the word translated as hate could indicate to love less. And so this isn't saying that you hate in the normal sense of the term. So a little bit lost in translation sometimes on people. We know from other passages the love that we're supposed to have for people. But rather, when it comes to how we regard them and how we regard Christ, he must be first and foremost. In fact, this idea, his own life also. See, too often when it comes to the new year, we're trying to just kind of tweak things or make little adjustments here or there. And that might be a starting point at first, but too often, the baser problem is where we're coming from. It's our mindset. It's basically who we are that we're trying to fix some external things, but we're not fixing us. We are viewing it as if, well, still hang on to my life, but just somehow kind of make it better. And what we're doing is superficially making it better, but the foundational things are not changing. This has to be about bearing your cross. This has to be about giving up everything for the Christ. A passage that would contain similar ideas to what we have in verse 27 there in Luke 9:23, talking about self-denial when it comes to carrying the cross. I mean, that is, in a practical sense, what that's about. And there in Luke 9:23, it's stated that it is to be a daily thing. This is not a one-time thing. Rather, this is something that you do every day, that every day you deny yourself. Now, this is not about asceticism for its own sake. Some think, well, this means I need to find ways to really suffer. Now, sometimes in making the changes you need to make and the true betterment that comes from following Jesus, there may be some suffering, but that's not the point. The point is doing what it takes to come after him. And instead of kind of trying to follow him just a little bit better, but you're still, you're hanging on to how your relationships used to be. It could be that in your betterment, you have to give up some things. It's like, well, my parents always did it this way. My parents always taught me this is the best way to do. And you realize it's not. That has to change. You realize that with your other relationships, maybe your marriage, you realize, you know what, we're not, our roles are not what they need to be. I'm not who I am in this marriage as far as, we've kind of have found what sort of kind of works for us, but this really is not in line with what Christ wants. It has to change. So in that sense, you have to hate all of that and decide, because of your love for them, you're going to now just give up everything that was and rebuild it to be conformed to what Jesus wants it to be. You have to take up that cross. You have to make this thing real this year. You have to go to a degree you did not think was possible, and then go further. So that this can not just be about, well, renewal, but you still kind of have the same thing. Well, I'm just kind of renewing this. I'm just kind of making this a little bit fresher, a little bit better. No, just throw it away. Start fresh. Start new with the Christ. Bear that cross daily, denying yourself, and follow him. You have a great rest of the day, and shalom.